This is Ashley with Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh! Villains.
Also, I've made him look much more cuddly.
だってそれが愛だろ?
For this list, we'll be looking at the antagonists who made life hell, but also entertaining for Yugi, Jaden, Yusei, and the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Heroes. Certain characters like Seto Kaiba will not be included, as they're more rivals than the traditional villains. But which Yu-Gi-Oh! Villain is the most terrifying for you? Let us know in the comments, and as always you can catch me on Twitter at AshJBo, so head over there, give me a follow, and let me know which Yu-Gi-Oh! List you want to see next. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10, Noah Kyber, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
And now the time has finally arrived for me to reclaim my rightful position as the head of my father's empire. Sorry, I guess this means that you're out of a job.
Seto and Mokuba's brother got dealt a terrible hand in life. After a car crash left the original heir to the Kyber fortune on death's door, Noah's consciousness was uploaded to a VR world and left to rot. Noah then dragged the heroes into his prison to get revenge on his replacement.
Seto, I finally done it!
As the main antagonist of a filler arc, Noah holds little relevance to the rest of the anime, but the villain is the most entertaining part of the virtual world arc. Noah manages to be a fun mix of competent, sadistic, theatrical, and to a lesser extent, sympathetic.
This reunion is touching, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut it short. No!
Number 9, Diva, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions.
What I have is the power to change your pathetic world into someplace grand. Someplace you don't deserve to exist.
Although not given too much time to shine due to being a movie-only villain, Diva leaves quite the impression. The Dark Side of Dimensions takes place 6 months after Duel Monsters ending and sees Kyber trying to bring back the Pharaoh, a course of action that would cause nothing but trouble for Diva and his friends.
It means they've lost their special abilities. In other words, you lose!
Along with having the power to send people to other dimensions, Diva proves to be a worthy obstacle for Kyber and Yugi. The villain's personal history with Bakura also adds a touch of nuance to their character.
Oh no! That would mean... you trapped me!
That's right!
Number 8, Rex Goodwin, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Often the best villains think of themselves as heroes. After Roman turned into a Dark Signer, he entrusted his brother Rex with defeating him by gathering the Signer. In pursuit of this goal, Rex becomes a legend, a manipulative director, and eventually a wannabe god with plans of world domination. The Dark Signers are mostly a fun bunch of antagonists with intriguing backstories, and while Rex bides his time before joining their ranks, he is a constant presence throughout the first half of 5Ds. It's also neat to see an antagonist who is not just pure evil and is capable of recognizing his mistakes. Number 7, Sartorius, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Sartorius! Well, at last we meet. Welcome.
Thank you. I've been most impressed with your students, Chancellor.
Yukio loves its evil alter personas. Sartorius, the human, is a rather kind person with a sympathetic past. Conversely, Sartorius, possessed by the light of darkness, wants to either kill or brainwash everyone on Earth.
Remember, technically this is still your turn. I play Ace of Sword. This spell card will decide your destiny. Simply choose when it should stop.
Armed with an array of psychic powers, Sartorius is a threat that falls only a duel short of nuking the world. The villain is also pretty great at duel monsters, even managing a rare zero-turn kill. Ultimately, the Light of Darkness is the real villain here, with Sartorius turning a new leaf once the alien's influence is removed.
Next time, I shall duel.
Number 6. Zone, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
先行は私がもらいます。神の力を思い知るがいい。
The power of science can be terrifying. Hailing from a future where human greed led to its destruction, Zone seeks to change the timeline. Unfortunately, the scientist's plan happens to involve destroying a city. Putting aside what he becomes, Zone was once an idealist who was willing to do anything, including discarding his own identity and face to steer humanity towards salvation.
そして私は生まれ変わったのです。不動優勢として。
Zone becomes a villain out of desperation, pain, and isolation. The character's Time Lord's deck is pretty awesome, and should have been shown off more in the anime. In fact, Zone in general could have used more screen time.
あなたの役目は終わりました。安らかに眠りなさい。
Number 5. Maximilian Pegasus, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Please, I've transformed this legendary beast into his most supreme form. Also, I've made him look much more cuddly.
There's no forgetting your first. Maximilian Pegasus set the standard for central villains in Yu-Gi-Oh! And he even created the Duel Monsters game. Driven by a relatable motive to see his deceased lover and boasting a memorable toon deck that is far stronger in the anime than in real life, Pegasus's propensity for over-the-top theatrics are reminiscent of the Saturday morning cartoons the villain used to watch.
Oh, Kyber boy. Your treasured blue eyes white dragons mean so very much to you, don't they?
Pegasus genuinely feels like a final boss, the ultimate opponent to test Yugi's skills. Most importantly, Pegasus has the best hair in the anime, which is saying something.
Then I think you'll find that he's much more than just a pretty face.
Number 4. Ubel, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
仲間たちが傷ついて苦しんで消えていっているのに。
だってそれが愛だろ。
Apparently being transformed into a duel monster spirit, then turned into a card, and finally shot into space is not great for someone's mental health. Ubel's whole existence revolves around Jaden and his ancestors, and the human-turned card will do anything to make sure nobody keeps her apart from GX's protagonist.
10代は僕だけのものなんだ。僕は君と一つになって永遠に生きていくんだ。
While she is eventually saved by Jaden during her villainous phase, Ubel is one of the craziest and most gleefully sadistic antagonists in Yu-Gi-Oh! Although her descent into madness is amplified by the light of destruction, Ubel's emotions and obsession are all her own.
10代。二つの魂は一つになって、もう決して離れることはないんだね。
Number 3. Vector, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeal.
What do you mean
You exceed summoned, just as I knew you would.
Now this villain is the definition of a fun time. Vector has a complicated history that involves kingdoms at war, dead parents, twisted memories, and a corrupted protector. While all of these things are interesting, this villain's awesomeness lies in the fact that he is just so unpredictable and unabashedly cruel.
He'll be able to finish Shark off for good!
Vector spends a large chunk of Zeal pretending to be Yuma's close friend Ray, and the villain trolls the heroes every step of the way. Vector is not only really charismatic, but the character embraces the role of villain with every fiber of his being.
How could I lose?
Number 2. Yami Marik, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Let me out! You can't restrain me anymore!
I'm gonna file this in the category of not good.
Duel Monsters is packed to the brim with alter egos, but Yami Marik stands out as his existence is not directly linked to a Millennium item. Yami manifested from Marik Ishtar's hatred, the result of a life defined by suffering and a lack of control.
I'm finally free again. Which means I can do things my way.
While other antagonists generally have some concrete motives, usually the world-eradicating kind, Yami Marik only wants the freedom to make everyone's life as painful as possible. Yukio has plenty of more complex antagonists, but Yami embodies evil like nobody else.
When the infinite power of the Pharaoh belongs to me!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Yami Bakura. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Now that my twins are finished, why don't you go?
Some villains prefer to play the long game. Through Bakura, the Millennium Ring's Yami Bakura is a constant presence that lurks throughout the entirety of the Duel Monsters anime. Seeking to reunite the 7 Millennium items to revive Zork, Yami Bakura takes a back seat for most of the series, but becomes the definitive villain by the final season.
This match will be played on the landscape of our minds. Really now, Pegasus, is that all you can muster?
Directly tied to the Pharaoh's origin and destiny, Yami Bakura's greatest asset is the mystery surrounding him. Yukio lets Yami Bakura exist in this universe for a very long time, permitting the tension and intrigue surrounding the villain to fester.
I knew it all along. Without the Pharaoh, you're nothing. He's the king of games. You're just a frightened child.
So do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.